Alright guys, we're going to be talking about grooming tools today. We have several tools that we use whenever we're grooming our horse, getting them ready to ride. The first thing that I usually start with, and it will just depend on the time of the year, is this curry comb. Now this is a reversible curry comb so that you can actually adjust it to a summertime coat or a wintertime coat. It has longer teeth for the wintertime coat, shorter for the summer. The objective of this is to be able to shed the horse out in the spring when they're losing their winter coat, or also, especially during the winter when it's really muddy, horses love to roll. And this will get all that caked on mud out of that winter coat. It's really thick, it's hard to get out. It's about the only tool that will do it. So we use this a lot throughout a lot of the year. It's called the curry comb. You're going to start here first. Now there is an exception to the curry comb. You really shouldn't use this below the knee or the hock or on the bony structure of the face. Below the knee or hock there are no muscles. On the bony structure of the face there's no muscles. There's just skin and hair over the bone. So you really don't want to be scraping a metal comb over those sections. They do have them in rubber and plastic and you could use those. I don't find them to be quite as effective, but you can at least use those materials in those areas of the body. So this is what we start with a curry comb. The second thing we're going to go to is the hard bristle brush, and you can see that this brush is just really stiff. This is what's going to be kind of second level. After you've used the metal comb, you're going to go into this. It's going to get the kind of still some of the lingering big particles of dirt off of your horse. And you know, we have to get all this stuff off of our horse because whenever we put a saddle and a pad on the horse, if we have anything underneath there that's of any size, a little pebble or any kind of mud, it can actually cause a gall or a sore on our horse. So of course that can lead to behavioral problems, and at the very least it can, you know, injure our horse, which is still a really big deal. So we want to make sure we get all that stuff off the horse. We can use this hard bristle brush as our second tool in grooming. Then we're going to follow up with a soft bristle brush. It's also called a face brush, and you can see that this is much more pliable than the hard bristle. This is kind of a finishing brush. This gets all the small particles off of the horse. It gets a lot of the dust out of the horse. So this is the third component of grooming. And then finally we have our mane and tail comb. You just be able to brush out the mane and tail. You know, here in Tennessee we have a lot of cockleburrs and they get in the mane and tail, so we have to brush all those things out. Even little sticks, with the wind blowing, you get just a little twig in that horse's tail and the wind blows it round and round. You'll end up with just a gob of hair that's really hard to get out. So we try to use these every time we groom our horses just to keep the mane and tail in healthy condition. And then finally, to finish up with our grooming before we go into our training with our horses, we have the hoof pick. Now this is a kind of a standard hoof pick. These are really cheap. You can find these at most tack stores. I do tend to prefer these hoof picks just because they have a flat end on the tip of it. I feel like it gets the mud out a lot easier, and it works really well. And once again, can't beat the price of them. So then they have other styles. I mean, you know, you can get the pointed tips, but every time that we groom our horses, we are also going to be picking the hooves. The old saying goes, no hoof, no horse. So whenever you're grooming, every time you bring your horse up, you should really clean the hooves out. If you have anything in those hooves, like a rock, it can really wound your horse, lame them up, you won't be able to use them. So we want to make sure that we take care of all of our grooming as often as possible.